everyone, welcome to today's tutorial, and in this video I'll be showing you how you can recreate these watercolor popsicles. It's super easy to do, and let's see how that's done. So what I'll be doing is that I'll be opening up a new document first, and as you can see that the document that I'll be using is a custom size document which is 1000 by 1000 pixels. And I'll be renaming my document to be watercolor popsicle, but you're free to choose any size document as you like. As you can see, Adobe Illustrator provides a huge variety of these custom size documents, but just in case if you want to use the same document size that I am using, just type in 1000 by 1000 in the width and the height options right here and change the dimensions to pixels. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is that I want to create this background color that I have added. So over here by default, when you open up a new document, you get this layer 1. So I'll just rename this to background. So I'll be using this rectangle tool. I do not require the stroke as of now. And for the fill, I'll be using this light blue color. Click on this fill again and then just make it a little bit more lighter like this and click on OK. So I'll just click on my document again, and this time also give the dimensions of the square which has to be the same size of my document. So it was 1000 by 1000 pixels and OK. See, I'll be using this selection tool and just aligning it with my document like that, and I'll go ahead and also lock my layer so that when I make my popsicles, I do not accidentally move the background around or delete anything. Right. So once that's done, so I'll go ahead and also create a new layer, and in this layers 2, I'll double click on this and rename this to popsicle. So now we'll be working on this layer 2 panel right here. So we can go ahead and now start creating our popsicles. So I'll be first recreating this first one right here. Okay, so I'll be using the rectangle tool again, and I'll give it a color of an orange color from the fill option over here. I do not require the stroke for now. So you just drag your mouse to make a rectangle shape like this. Now I'll use the direct selection tool to select the first 2 anchor points like this by clicking and holding on to shift and rounding the edges off like that. Now similarly, I'll select the bottom 2 anchor points as well and just round them off a little bit, not too much, like this. So once that's done, we can go ahead and also create the ice cream stick. So for this, I'll be changing the color to this light brown using the rectangle tool again, and just create this ice cream stick like this. So once that's done, so I'll just make sure that this is centrally aligned with this stick is centrally aligned with my popsicle, right? So to do that, we can go to the align panel and just click on this horizontal align like that, so that it becomes centrally aligned. So once that's done, I'll be using the direct selection tool again, holding on to shift and select these 2 bottom anchor points and go ahead and round them off as well. So what I want to do now is that I'll be adding these kind of a shade right below, right? So I'll be using the pen tool over here, changing the fill to black. I'll zoom in and make a triangle like that. So once that's done and it's selected, We can go over here to this transparency panel, and the blending mode I'll be using multiply and changing the opacity from 100% to 20% like that. So once that's done, we can go ahead and also add the highlight over here. So I'll be using this arc tool, which is right below the line segment tool. I'll flip this and change the stroke color to white and also change the stroke weight to 4. So I'll come over here to the top and make my stroke like this. So, but just in case if the same arc is coming onto the other direction, in the downward direction over here, so just click on F so that it gets flipped onto the other side. So once that's made, and we can go ahead, click on the stroke and click on round cap option so that this gets rounded off like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to now add the texture behind on this popsicle, right? So I'll be opening up a new image. So you'll have to actually also download watercolor textures as well. So you can choose any texture you like. So I'll be using the first one, this watercolor texture one, and open. And I'll bring it over here to my document like that. Okay, so I'll just get this on the side. So I'll select, so what I have to do is that I'll be making a clipping mask so that this image then gets transferred onto this popsicle right here. Okay, so in order to do that, I'll be clicking onto my popsicle, going to edit, copy, edit and paste in front. And I'll right click on this, go to arrange and bring to front like that. And now we can just position our image like this. So once that's done, we can go ahead and also click on shift and select this popsicle, right click, just select this popsicle, shift, select the image as well. Right click on this and click on make clipping mask. And there you go. Our texture then gets automatically fit inside our popsicle. So once that's done, I'll go to the transparency panel, and over here in this blending mode, I'll be using this blending mode called overlay like that. And there you go. We successfully made our first popsicle stick. Now I'll be repeating the same process but with different shapes, and the texture, watercolor texture, is going to be different as well. Right? So I'll make the second one as well. So I'll go back to the rectangle tool again, and this time I'll be changing the fill to this purple color and make one popsicle rectangle like that. Use the direct selection tool and I'll just select these two anchor points, round them off. Select these two anchor points and just round them off a little like that. So now that we've already had made our stick, I'll just go ahead, select this, click on Alt and bring it here to the middle like that. So I'll also just make this a little bit thinner like this. Select these two and I'll align them centrally as well like that. So now for the second part is making this highlight. So I'll use the arc tool, flip this, choose a stroke weight, the stroke color to be white. And this time I'll change the stroke weight to 2 instead of 4. And just make one smaller stroke like that. Also change the stroke cap to round cap like that. Just to check, you can just zoom in And you can see that it has been rounded off. I'll just select this anchor point and just bring it a little bit more inwards, shorter, like that. Okay. So now for the second texture, I'll be opening up a new image and the next watercolor image. The shortcut key would be Ctrl+O to open up your image. I'll be using the watercolor texture 2 and I'll go ahead and also just resize this bigger. Like this. Then just bring it over here. Resize it so that it fits my entire popsicle. Select this, Ctrl C for copy and Ctrl F to place it in front. Right click, go to arrange and bring to front and just I'll resize this like that. Okay, now for the clipping mask, select the image, select the popsicle, right click and make clipping mask. We go to the transparency and change the blending mode to overlay as well, and like that. And now for the last one, I'll close this as well. This last one over here with the drip, it's slightly different, which has it's dripping and it has stripes as well. Rectangle tool again, and this time I'll be changing the fill to red. Go ahead and make a rectangle like this, and this time I'll round all the edges off like that. Okay, I'll select the stick, click on Alt and bring it to the center. And now for the stripes, I'll be changing the fill to be white, but I'll make it a little off-white like that, or probably just make it into a slight creamish color like this. And make my stripe like that. Click on Alt to make a copy and then just bring it down a little like this. And now to make multiple copies, I'll be clicking on Ctrl+D like that. Okay. So once that's done, let's go ahead and also add the dripping parts, right? Zoom in on this. Use the rectangle tool and choose the same color. Make one rectangle like this and another rectangle like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'll select this red portion, this red base, and select these two rectangles by clicking on Shift, going to the Pathfinder panel and clicking on Unite like that. But when we unite, it actually covers up all the stripes we had made. So I'll just right click on this, go to arrange and say send to back, and all our stripes then come forward. So what I'm going to do now is that I'll be just selecting some anchor points, these two bottom anchor points, rounding the edges off, select these anchor points as well and round the edges off again like that. Okay, so once that's done, the only thing that is now left is to add the texture behind this now. So Ctrl+O and I'll be choosing this watercolor texture 3. Get that over here. Right click. Wait. I'll select this red portion Control C for copy, Control F to bring it in front, right click again, go to arrange and bring to front, and just reposition my popsicle like that. Click on shift to select the red popsicle, right click and make clipping mask. Once that's done, the only difference over here will be that I'll be changing the blending mode now. So we've been always using the blending mode overlay, but this time I'll be using screen so that it blends a lot better with the stripes as well. And now we can just select all of them and scale them bigger so that it fits our document like that. And there you go. We've successfully made our 3 different types of watercolor popsicle. So now the only thing that's left to do is that we have to just save our document. So in order to do that, I'll be going to File, clicking on Save As, and by default my file name is going to be the same as my document name, which was a watercolor popsicle, and my Save As type over here is going to be Adobe Illustrator. I highly recommend that we save a file in this format so that in case if I want to go ahead and make any changes, I can easily do that by accessing my AI file. And we click on Save and OK. So it usually, okay now. So now that our document has been saved as an AI file, and that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did, and you can use the same clipping mask tool and use this process to make different kinds of watercolor popsicles. Make it in different shapes, give it a different flavor, add toppings if you like, and that's about it. So thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.